Let's get to our other subject, and this is a subject I would definitely wanted to bring Epic Mike in on, and this is the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So yeah, so it's this movie. Honestly, I saw the trailer, and I kind of chuckled at the trailer. I said, "This looks like absolute fun." I like Guy Ritchie's directing style. I know he's not for everybody, but I happened to like it. And from what I'd heard, well, this is new right here, but from what I'd heard is that the box office take was lower than than what was expected.
Hmm. Yeah, this is actually the first I saw anybody say that it was actually doing better. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, when did this come out? And I'm guessing that people didn't really think that it was going to make all of that money. But like with good storytelling, I mean, this is just basically your World War II story. It comes from one of Winston Churchill's declassified files, which I believe was declassified in 2016. I
Hmm.
believe someone wrote a book about this. I'm forgetting the name, but I definitely have to download it. Where you get your group of miscreants together to do a mission that only they can do, and if they are discovered by the British, they'll get thrown in prison. If you're discovered by the Nazis, well, basically they're going to yeet you and take great pleasure in doing so. So that's literally what this movie is about. It is too much fun. Seeing Ian Fleming
Yeah.
in the opening minutes, I'm like, wait, what? Bond, Ian Fleming?
Yeah.
Yes, you see him, and it just goes on from there. It's such a great I want to say ensemble film. But
Yeah.
I'll let Culture. I'll let you opine some more on this film.
Well, I have to tell you, this is one of those that I absolutely love. Operation Postmaster was exactly everything Lorraine has said, and this is a special group of operators that were the miscreants. It's, inglorious bastards. It's kind of the people that didn't belong anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were called something like Special Commando Number 62 or whatever. But this group anyway. And what was great about the film is obviously they took a lot of dramatic license. So that there's no way we would know what the language was between any of these
Right.
people, the dialogue, all of that. But it was based on something that actually happened, and it did open the door for the United States forces to join the war in World War II. The this location that they had to infiltrate required a special group of people who didn't mind being disavowed the entire time they existed, and they had to head down south to Africa to intercept a ship and destroy it that would essentially take care of all the supplies for the submarines, that the U-boats, the German U-boats at the time. And what was really cool about this is they took you on a side quest on the way there, kind of like a little stop off. They had to do a jailbreak
Yeah.
at a German prison camp, which was a great way to start this off.
Oh my
And
god.
on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as Guy Ritchie films specifically goes, this lands at about a 7. Because it had the witty banter and the dialogue and all of the Guy Ritchie mannerisms that are in things. And every single character was performed perfectly by the person that got it. I mean, in your mind's eye, because you don't know what these people actually were like in person. But what was great about it is they had their own very well developed character. Guy Ritchie does a good job of giving you that kind of character development throughout his film. No, you don't know their backstory or whether they like waffles or anything like that, but you do know all the important elements. And even the female spy that was involved in this existed. So it wasn't like, you didn't have a femme fatale, vixen, spy lady that didn't know how to use her feminine wiles, which were actually a big part of the plot in this. So at the end of the day, between the multiple action scenes that there are, and everything else that goes into this, because it's a lot of plot and intrigue and, spycraft and all of that. It's a very satisfying film, which really didn't get the financial backing that it required. But as far as a movie goes, this is a movie. There's plenty of foul languages here. There's over the top violence. It is, and there's a lot of wit and craft that goes into telling the story. It's one of the reasons I respect Guy Ritchie, because, from Zero to The Gentleman being the best thing you could watch, this thing did pretty well. And it really represented quite well the himbos, I'll say it that way, that were involved there. Because there was a lot of eye candy for the ladies. So I'm surprised the ladies are not raving about the eye candy. Anyway, those are my thoughts, and that's kind of the background. And I will give away nothing more of the plot because you should see the movie. So.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, going with what Culture said, all the characters are very well cast. Henry Cavill's character, I mean, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to buy in, but when they brought him out of prison, with Ian Fleming, and I think Churchill, I don't think he was there, but they have him in there, and he's just kind of shooting banter, and it's like, oh, why don't you have some tea? Henry Cavill's character's like, okay. He goes right straight to the whiskey and pours the whiskey while he's like, you're getting details about what's going on. He's grabbing the cigars and putting the cigars in his pockets and all that. And then when he leaves, he like offers one of the guards a cigar, and they're just like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll take one. He's like, no, I don't think so. And he is determined to get himself a Nazi jacket. He's like, I gotta get one of those. I got to get one of those. So literally throughout the film, and this was just me, I'm like, is he going to get that? Because he keeps talking about that. He keeps remarking about that. But it's a lot of fun. Even with the phrase, do you realize your nipples are connected to a car battery? I mean,
some wild lines in this movie. Yeah, it's great.
Well, doesn't he also say, yes, but could you please unplug me or something like that?
Yes.
The conversation is incredible in this film. Again, it's Guy Ritchie, so the dialogue is brilliant.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie's really good at dialogue. It's funny because I think that Guy Ritchie's gotten a little bit more heat recently with because he's had some flops. But I kind of feel like it's because I just feel like Guy Ritchie's this is not the culture or the landscape for Guy Ritchie films, unfortunately. I feel like it's more the time that he's in, less about his film quality at times, because I think Guy Ritchie's a pretty solid director, but also when he's doing movies like Aladdin, you're like, what are you doing? Like Aladdin? Like, that's not a Guy Ritchie like vehicle. Like, what do you I enjoyed this movie. I was surprised because I feel like I feel like this movie's been getting a lot of heat, and we mentioned that at the very beginning. Like, yeah, maybe especially with Alan Rich and some of the stuff he's been saying in the press. But like, I thought it was pretty entertaining. It was what I expected from a Guy Ritchie film, which is never a bad thing. I feel like when you have a director that okay, I'm probably going to get this kind of a thing from him or her when they do a movie. Guy Ritchie or Edgar Wright, or Quentin Tarantino or whatever. You go, okay, there's going to be an energy there, and I feel like that energy was all through this movie. And also, like, yeah, I thought Henry Cavill did a great job. I thought the cast had a surprising amount of chemistry. I didn't know when I saw the trailer. I was like, how is that gonna work? Because we see this happen a lot now, where they just grab people and throw them all into a movie together, and you go, how's this gonna work? But like, everybody kind of gels pretty well together. Right from the word go, and I actually really appreciated that. I know I got to get going pretty soon here, unfortunately, but I did want to mention this, and because Lorena, I saw you back me up on this on Twitter a little bit. There's been a lot of heat, and people kind of celebrating and kind of cheering that this movie is not doing very well because they're mad at Alan Ritchson. And here's the thing, like that, for lack of a better term, like that's kind of some bitch made stuff right there. Like, I don't know, that to me, that's the same kind of thing that when you see a movie doing well, You know, like when the wrong kind of movie or the wrong kind of game is doing well, like Quentin Tarantino makes Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's doing really well, and then they're screaming at him about why he didn't give Margot Robbie more lines. I'm specifically calling out, like, I guess, for once again, lack of a better term, like SJWs and stuff. Like, they're screaming and getting mad about him doing well, or a movie does flop, that they're like, ha, finally, you know, blah blah blah, this problematic person isn't doing well, and I'm so happy about that and stuff. It's like, you know what, if he said something stupid in an interview, then be mad at him, and if you don't want to watch his stuff and don't want to support him, please do so. We should always vote with our wallets, and we should vote with our finances and stuff. But to celebrate a movie not doing well, like, well, on the same vein, like, Henry Cavill's in this movie, do you want him to let's just keep making fun of him for all his flops? Like, no, most of you guys want him to do well, and you want him to succeed, and you want his star power to have some kind of pull, and have some kind of influence and stuff. It's like, so you don't get to throw the baby out with the bathwater, unfortunately. And I think that sometimes that nuance and stuff is lost, and the fact that, you know what, I don't agree with what he said either, but he's an actor. Is his character okay in the movie? Yeah, I thought he did fine. He's a little fruity, but, like, whatever. Like, you know, I was like, okay,
you're so right.
Yeah, he's a little fruity in the movie. I was like, okay, but, like, it's fine. Like, you know, I don't know. It's like, I don't have to agree with his take on the world if he did a decent job in a film and did a decent job acting and stuff like that. And yeah, that's a good way to say it. He already got paid for this. Go see the movie and support Henry Cavill, or go support the movie and support mid-budget movies and stuff like that. Movies where they're going to let you take more risks and let you try different things instead of some of these, you know, big budget formulaic movies that we've been getting and stuff like that. I don't know. So yeah, that's just a little thing I wanted to mention, because I find it very surprising to watch people celebrating a movie not doing well because of an actor that they don't like in it, versus like, oh, the movie's not doing well because it's pushing identity politics, or a movie's not doing well because it's trying to preach or whatever. It's like, this movie's just out here trying to have a fun time with an interesting story. And, you know, I love the fact that Ian Fleming was in this too. I was like, that's so rad. Like,
Mike, before you leave, I want to ask you, didn't this feel a lot like a late 80s, early 90s kind of an action movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, that's the energy that everybody keeps screaming they want to recapture, is like, we don't have these, you know, and stuff like that. It's like Guy Ritchie has a very interesting, like, vibe to him. It's very stylistic. You know, and, you know, like, because you have, what was his first movie? Was it Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, like, that kind of energy. He's never really lost that kind of a vibe and energy in his films and stuff. And so to see him doing a movie like this, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. It reminded me a lot of, like, Inglourious Bastards. You know, it's not as irreverent or as intense or as ridiculous, but it had that same kind of feel to it. And I'm like, we should be celebrating movies like this getting made and wanting them to do well and wanting more movies like this to be made. Got a bunch of, like, you know, manly dudes and like you said, feminine women out here fighting and causing mayhem and shooting Nazis, and, like, yeah, we can celebrate that. Why can't we all get behind that? Instead, people are like, yeah, it's not doing well because Alan Ritchson said some stuff in the media that I don't like. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't want to hear him talk either. Like, I'd rather just go make movies and shut up. Like, you know, you were Aquaman. How big of a, like, opinions should I hang on you? You know, but, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I thought the movie was fun. I thought it was way more fun than it was going to be, even just based on the marketing. But I also think that that's kind of indicative of today. I don't think even Hollywood knows what to do with people like Guy Ritchie anymore, or even Edgar Wright anymore. I just don't think they know what to do with these guys, because the culture is, the landscape right now is so up and down, and there's minefields everywhere, and nobody really knows how to navigate this world like they used to. It used to just be, give them the money and let them make the film, and we're not getting that anymore. It's kind of a lost art form, which is very unfortunate. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys liked it, because I was surprised. I was like, what? This is a movie everybody's, like, you know, kind of talking about. I was like, this is actually pretty fun. So
yeah, it was just a blast. I mean, seeing Henry Cavill in the Nazi jacket and the hat, walking with the gun, saying "Guten Abend," and then double tapping people.
Oh yeah, he's just walking around just like, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, man, this is great.
It was just it was just fun. It was fun, almost it gave me Indiana Jones and not the Temple of Doom. Probably the first one.
The Last Crusade?
Yeah, Last Crusade, it kind of gives you some vibes like that, with the Nazis, but just fun. And oh my God, the soundtrack. Okay. Love the soundtrack, especially the music from that era that they seem to pull from. It's amazing. I'm like, I have to get that soundtrack. It's just people seem to forget how crucial the music is to the film, and it pairs up absolutely perfectly. And for people who are thinking the femme fatale is something fake, no. Female spies during World War II. Yeah, that was.
There were a lot of them too.
A lot of them. So, Mike, thank you so very much for joining us. I sure do appreciate you hanging out with us. You want to let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. It sucks I got to leave. I triple booked myself today, like always. But I love being able to come on the show and meet new people and meet see old faces and hang out with you guys. I think this is important to be able to jump in and talk to different people and have different engagements with different people and have different kind of conversations about films and stuff. So I really appreciate you having me here. You can catch me mainly right now over on YouTube. I'm really grinding over there. I've had a YouTube channel for like 2 years. I've done nothing with it. But I've been doing a lot of live streams, really pushing over there on YouTube pretty aggressively. We're like halfway to the first level of monetization. I've been doing, I pretty much live stream almost every day over there. And then I've been getting into doing some videos and stuff as well. It's been a really fun time. You can catch me over on Kick. I'm multi-stream kind of all over the place. And keep your eye on Epic Verge Studios. It's an independent studio that was founded by me, my buddy Josiah Rises. We're doing the thing that everybody criticizes us of not doing, which is actually, if we don't like it, then do something about it. And we're actually doing something about it. We're setting out to make independent films that are entertaining and are just fun, enjoyable movies again,
wonderful.
which I feel like is a lost art form. So yeah, we'll have a lot more news coming about that in the very near future. I think you guys will be surprised at how much stuff we're ready to just kind of throw at you guys when we get going. But yeah, thank you so much again for having me. It really means the world. So I very much appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate it, Mike. Thank you so much for coming by. You have an open invitation to drop in on the show anytime. So sooner we have you back, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will definitely be back. It was really nice to meet you guys, and hope the next time I will not double book myself, and I'll make sure that I have plenty of time to hang out with everybody and talk about this stuff. Because I'm already digging the vibes here and stuff like that. And I'm always lurking and watching streams, so I'm always surprised when somebody's like, "Hey, you want to come hang out?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Take care, Mike.
Thank you. Take it easy.
See ya.
Yeah, folks, you have got to go check out Epic Mike's channel. Let's get him on.
Oh, I just subscribed. Yeah.
Awesome, because he's such a cool guy. I'm so glad to have him on. I first streamed with him over on I think on Film Threat. For Versus. We were reviewing the American Society of Magical Negroes. Go back and watch that episode of Versus. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. It was so funny. You can see Epic Mike with X-Ray Girl and Seppi spreading democracy later tonight. All right, then. All right, you guys go and check that out. And Captain, you put this one up here. Churchill's Secret Warriors, the explosive true story of the Special Forces Desperados of World War II by Damian Lewis, not the actor, available in hardcover and paperback with 416 pages. I will be purchasing that for sure, because let's just say, well, first of all, my grandfather was in World War II, and he would always talk about how they had to cross the Atlantic in those ships. He was just like, he was not anxious to try to go. But one of the parts of this film that they tell you is that Americans did not want to get involved in the war unless they could guarantee safe passage of those ships across the Atlantic. And if you think that, oh, the Germans were only hanging out, in European waters, no, 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 no. They were as close, or where I was, the New Jersey shoreline. They were patrolling the Atlantic shoreline of the United States repeatedly. So that was a very, very realistic threat. And I'll leave with this last quote because this dude cracked me up, the so-called king of Fernando Poe. He said, "I don't hate them because they're Nazis. I hate them because they're so damn gauche." And I love that line.
Yeah,
I love that word too.
Yeah, the Prince was great in there. He was awesome. Yeah.
Oh man, that line just had me in absolute stitches. It was
love
great.
war movies, love this genre of film for sure. I'm looking at the kind of the domestic box office performance and everything, trying to get a gauge on how well this is actually going to do right here. It looks like it has an A- cinema score, which is pretty decent for a film like this for sure. It looks like it debuted with a $10 million opening weekend domestically, which is good. It goes wide, I believe, tomorrow internationally. So we'll have to see what the international market brings to this. $60 million budget. Looks like there is a chance it could leg out, but again, we'll have to see what the international market does with something like this. The UK could very much support this. I hope it does.
I think I'll suggest this, that not a lot of people know about this film because it was not properly advertised or promoted. I mean, of course, people in our sphere had heard of this thing. We've been talking about it. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's the difficult thing, right? Because you could see from a studio's perspective, maybe to contain those costs if they don't really believe in a picture, maybe they don't support it with a big advertising spend. But at the same time, it's like, oh, could this find an audience somewhere with a spend like that?
It also didn't get a lot of theater support. I mean, it's only in 2,800 theaters versus something like Abigail, which is in a lot more theaters. So. It's in 3,300, 500 more theaters. So there's a reason why some movies do better than others. I mean, per theater average for Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is slightly higher than Abigail. So it's hard to say. I mean, Civil War is, per theater average is down as well. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are not really big theater days as far as revenue goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at those numbers and I go, these movies are all not separated by very much, which tells you that there's not a lot of good there's not a lot of good films, and there's not a lot of interest in any of these films. I mean, you are looking at a day where the top 18 films are only going to clock $6.7 million total.
Wow.
That's not a good number.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Oh, well, I am hoping that by word of mouth that the box office will go up, but definitely when this releases on digital and on physical media, I really think the numbers are going to take off, because just the photography, the ensemble cast, it's, one of those films where no throwaway characters at all. And you emotionally buy into this film very easily. And definitely check out, because I'm not going to spoil it, definitely check out the credits at the end. I love so many films that are about what I consider to be truly the greatest generation, considering what they had to go through to successfully win this war. It just blows my mind.